Hi MSVPA, this is my third in a series of videos, and before I start this video I need to give out some thank yous. So first of all, I want to thank my daughters, Catherine and Zoe, for helping me shoot these videos. I want to thank my dog Penny for her moral support and for being so adorably cute. And I also want to thank Abraham Lincoln and the cast of Harry Potter who made my last video possible. So thanks to all of them. Okay, so as I've shown you in the other two videos, hopefully you've printed this out off my website. This is a way for you to take notes and follow the lessons that I'm giving you in these videos. And today we're gonna mostly fill in this section here. Kind of got a lot of notes to write in here, so you might wanna try to write small to try to fit it all in. Okay, so we've been talking about the monotheistic religions, and especially focusing on Judaism, Christianity, and Islam. And they are all religions that believe in one God. We've talked about God's omnis. We've talked about one thing that they all have in common, which is a connection to Abraham. I want to spend more time talking about what they all have in common. I think a lot of times when we think about religion, we think about what they all have unique to themselves and how they're all different. And too much of the world, I think, focuses on how religions are all different. Think about all the wars that have been fought because of religion, because of different religious groups. Whether it was the Crusades, where the Christians were fighting the Muslims, or if it was in the Middle Ages when the Christians were persecuting the Jews, or in more modern times when Muslims and Jews have been fighting in Israel and Palestine, we're always focused on difference. I want to focus on what these all have in common. So we're going to be talking about their common threads right here. Okay, so here are some things that we know that all these faiths have in common. Number one, they're all monotheistic. They're all monotheistic. That means they all believe in one God. And they believe that God is all-powerful, all-knowing, all good, and he is ever-present. He is everywhere. They also believe that God is the creator of everything. The universe, the stars, the sun, the moon, all the creatures on the earth, including humans. As we learned in the last video, we know that they all share a common ancestor, Abraham. And some people refer to these three religions as the Abrahamic religions because they all trace ancestry back through Abraham. That's my dog's squeaky toy. Sorry about that. Other things that they all believe in and all share. They all believe in prophets. Prophets are humans that are contacted by God with a message to spread to humanity, and so prophets are considered messengers of God. They all have laws and rules that their followers are supposed to follow. Their followers are supposed to live their life out in a certain way, and they have to follow the rules. They all believe that angels and demons exist and are real in the world. They also all believe in signs and miracles, that God can do things that maybe defy the laws of physics or natural law, or when God steps in to make his presence known on earth, we consider that a sign or a miracle. They all believe in one version or another of the soul, that humans have a soul. What they don't always agree on is whether the soul is different from the body or if it's part of the body, but they all believe that humans have a soul. They also all believe in an afterlife. They don't all agree exactly what that afterlife is. The versions of heaven in the Christian faith, the Islamic faith, and the Jewish faith are all slightly different, but they do all agree that there is another world after this one. They all agree in an afterlife. They also all agree in covenants. So what that means is a promise between God and man. They all believe that at certain times in the past, God has made covenants with humans where God will say, I will do this for you. I promise to do this for you as long as you do what I tell you to do. So they all three believe in covenants. They obviously believe in prayer, that a person can communicate with God, can worship God, can thank God, can ask God for things through prayer. All those three faiths share that. They all have holy days, holidays, religious holidays. Sometimes they are for fasting. Sometimes they are for celebration. Sometimes they are to honor a spectacular religious event. but that is something that they also all have in common. They all share a belief in the city of Jerusalem, that Jerusalem is sacred or holy. And that's why also that part of the world is called the Holy Land. Now, the reason why Jerusalem is sacred is different in all three faiths. We'll cover this a little bit later, but Jerusalem is important to all three faiths. All three of these faiths are book religions. They all have a sacred text. They all have a holy book. In Judaism, it's the Torah, which is so old that it's a scroll. It's still a scroll. Christianity, of course, we have the Bible, and in Islam is the Quran. So all their faiths are based on a sacred text or a sacred book. They all have houses of worship. In Judaism, the house of worship is a synagogue, sometimes called a temple. In Christianity, it's a church, also maybe a cathedral, maybe a basilica. And in Islam, the house of worship is a mosque. So there is all a place where they are expected to go and pray and congregate in order to worship God or pray to God. All the faiths have a belief that there is one special day of worship that is more important than the other days. In Judaism, they call this day the Sabbath. And for Jews, the Sabbath is actually sundown on Friday night until sundown on Saturday night. So that basically is most of the day Saturday. And so that is what they consider the holiest day of the week. That's when they will go to synagogue or go to temple, and that's called the Sabbath. In Christianity, it is Sunday. Christians believe, God created the world in 6 days. On the seventh day, he rested. And so Sunday is given to worship in the Christian faith. And in Islam, they don't necessarily have a Sabbath, but they have what are called Friday prayers. And they believe that that is the time for Muslims to congregate and pray together as one. And that happens on Friday. And final thing is that all these faiths have a prayer leader, whether you want to call them whoever directs the worship or whatever. In Judaism, it's a rabbi. Christianity, because there are many different branches of Christianity, the prayer leader has many different names. So he might be called a priest. There might be ministers, reverends, pastors. If you hear that title, it's a leader in the Christian faith. In Islam, the prayer leader is called an imam. So as you see, there's quite a lot that all these three faiths have in common. Of course, they do have many differences, but when you look at it this way, you find out that maybe these faiths aren't quite as different as we think they are. They actually share a lot of things in common. In future videos, we'll be talking about each faith individually and what makes them unique from the others. But until then, have a great day.